Hear me in the World Vibes Radio. Why they my use ya? Not take no talkie. Be careful of some places where you walk. Some no know God, them no read Bible. Then we shoot you down with them rifle. Do not bring no guns, come to town. It's World Vibes, tell them leave that at home. Them better bring love, come to town. It's I say spread the joy around. World Vibes Radio. Not the king this, you know. Let's go and teach your youth them. Play some good music. Educate them.
Yo, check this out. This is Anthony Cruz, and you don't know it's the Diaspora Connection featuring Kabbalah for Jamaicans with Joshua. Keep it locked, man. Blaze it hot. Anthony Cruz to that.
Now this is Prophecy, the Judge General out of Jamaica. And whenever I'm on the highways, going through the byways, I always stay in tune to Diaspora Connection featuring Kabbalah for Jamaicans with Joshua. I swear and I honor that I'll find a way to enlighten my people so they can make it through their days. 'Cause I don't want to see nobody banks, body banks.
Here I come again, Jaja, before your presence we singing. Lord, watch over our shoulders tonight and help us live our words tomorrow. Let's not forget where we're from, Father, show us the way to go. You said I must love and feed my enemies, and I'm gonna do it. You said I shouldn't hate or grudge, and I won't, not even for a minute. Let all the truth come from my lips. Bless our souls, 'cause without you we can't make it. Lord, watch over our shoulders tonight and help us live our words tomorrow. Let's not forget where we're from, Father, show us the way to go. You're the wind beneath my wings. See me through all the things. You lifted me when I was down. Now you have me standing on higher ground. Lord, watch over our shoulders tonight and help us live our words tomorrow. Let's not forget where we're from, Father, show us the way to go. How excellent is thy name. Deliver us from sin and shame. Out of the mount of babe and suckle in, you are our day strength. Oh, Jah, I'm depending on you. Oh, no other help I know. Oh, Jah, I'm depending on you. Oh, no other help I know. You're the only way. God be deep. With you I wanna stay. Please don't go away, Lord. Lord, watch over shoulders tonight and help us live our words tomorrow. Let's not forget where we're from, Father, show us the way to go. You said I must love and feed my enemies, and I'm gonna do it. You said I shouldn't hate or grudge, and I won't, not even for a minute. Let only truth come from my lips. Bless our souls, Lord, without you we can't make it. Lord, watch over our shoulders tonight and help us live our words tomorrow. Let's not forget where we're from, Father, show us the way to go. You're the wind beneath my wings. See me through all little things. You lifted me when I was down. Now you have me standing on higher ground. Lord, watch over our shoulders tonight and help us live our words tomorrow. Let's not forget where we're from, Father, show us the way to go. Oh, Jah, here I and I answer to your cry. Yeah. Bless me, mighty Jah, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jah, bless me, yeah. Bless me, mighty Jah, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jah, bless me. Ooh, I'm in the midst of of strangers, oh Lord, strangers without love and mercy, strangers without dignity, strangers who don't want to live in harmony. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me, yeah. Father, they have dug their pits and are waiting to see me fall in it. Yes, they've got great power, so without your help, I know I suffer. Hear me while I call on you and help me to conquer. Only you are fair. Be with me everywhere. They're trying to see me fall, but with you, Jah, I stand tall. Bless me, oh Jah, bless me. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me, yeah. Why should a man choose to live his life this way, yeah? All you wanna do is fuss and fight every day. Each day you get up, you fuss and quarrel. Oh Lord, dumping your brothers in deep waters and barrels. Sisters informing and sisters, sons murdering mothers. Fathers hate to see the very sight of their own children. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me, yeah. Ooh-wee. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me. Oh Father, watch in Zion, hear our voice, oh Jah, today in our prayer, and accept our thanksgiving. Father, we thank thee for all that you have done and for what you're doing now. Oh, yeah. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes a laugh as though you're glad. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes a laugh as though you're glad. Little children love you well. Love all the wondrous tales you tell. Love to watch you come and go in the tides that heaven blow. Yet though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, 'cause Jah is with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes you laugh as though you're glad. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes you laugh as though you're glad. Little children love you well. Love all the wondrous tales you tell. Love to watch you come and go in the tides that heaven blow. Though so strong and great you are, love, love, love. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes you laugh as though you're glad. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes you laugh as though you're glad. Little children love you well. Love all the wondrous tales you tell. Love to watch you come and go in the tides of heaven flow. Splashing, you dashing, you restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad.
You're listening to Garnet Silk Showcase here on Diaspora Connection featuring Kabbalah for Jamaicans. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Diaspora Connection featuring Kabbalah for Jamaicans. My name is Joshua, and I want to welcome to our program tonight Brother Sean, Sister Raquel, and Brother Akash. Good evening, everyone. Welcome.
Good evening, Brother Joshua. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone.
Yes. Well, you guys tune in a good night because Thursday is Lag Boimer, which is the death anniversary of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar. And it is also called the Day of the Zohar because, as Kabbalah teaches, on the day that a righteous soul, especially a great one like Rabbi Shimon, decides to leave this world, all of his light and all of his energy is revealed and released into the cosmos on that day. So when cosmically, every time, every day, every year that this day, the 33rd day of the Omer, the Sphira of Hod, Hod Shebe Hod, because there are 49 days in the Omer, and we traverse through the seven, Hesed, Givura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut, and we do 7 times 7. So for each Sphira of the 7, we do 7. So 7 times 7 is 49. And Lag Boimer, the day that Rabbi Shimon decided to leave the earth, is the 33rd day of the Omer. And it's very significant. But more importantly, most importantly, if we perform the rituals, which is really just study, that evening stay up, because in a sense it's a mini Shavuot. Shavuot is on the 50th day after we left Egypt. And it's the giving of the Torah, which is when immortality was released into the universe for all mankind. The energy of immortality was released into the cosmos on Shavuot at the giving of the Torah. And by connecting to Lag Boimer, the 33rd day of the Omer, we are connecting to the soul of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and we're also connecting to the soul of Moses, because Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is a reincarnation of Moshe, of Moses. And by connecting to the soul of this great sage, we are connecting to his energy, to his essence, to what he revealed. You know, it's very similar to how Christians connect to Jesus, okay? But again, we understand that Rabbi Shimon is not God. When the Christians connect to Jesus, they're connecting to his energy, they're connecting to his essence, which is magnificent. Actually, I believe that Rabbi Shimon couldn't have done what he did. The revealing of the Zohar would not have happened unless Jesus did what he did. Because they knew each other. They were contemporaries. In fact, I've heard stories where Rabbi Shimon told Jesus, say, look, man, you're going to get yourself killed. Because he was a rebel. Jesus was a rebel. Right? So, and the late, great Billy Phillips, in his lecture, his YouTube lecture, Christianity and Kabbalah, he indicates that the INRI that is written above on Jesus' cross are the initials, not the beginning initials, but the ending initials. You see, Kabbalists had a way of communicating because they had to do a lot of it in secret. And one of the ways that they encoded things was by using the last letters of certain words. Okay? And the INRI, Billy Phillips postulates, represents the name of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. If you take the final letters of each one of those four words, you get INRI. Inri. Okay? So, it's all connected, my friends. All connected in secret. And this is why we study, so that we can learn these secrets and these revelations and use them to our advantage. For those of you who are listening on World Vibes for the first time or on YouTube, I am Joshua, the founder of the Kabbalah Learning Center of Jamaica. I've been a student of Kabbalah for the last 18 years. I study at the Kabbalah Center in New York City. Raised a Christian in a Jamaican home. And by the grace of God, and obviously by work I've done in previous lifetimes, I was exposed in this lifetime to the Zohar and the work of the Kabbalah Center. And I'm continuing that work through the Kabbalah Learning Center of Jamaica, which is a non-profit 501c3 company in the United States. And we don't only teach wisdom of Kabbalah to Jamaicans, but we also have a food security army where twice a month we buy and prepare food, cook, package, and deliver food to the homeless in and around the Spanish Town Care Center and the infirmary. Twice a month, over 100 souls are fed through the donations of our students and our listeners. Anytime you make a donation to the Kabbalah Learning Center of Jamaica, you will receive a tax-exempt form that you can present to the IRS wherever you file your taxes, and you will not be taxed on that that money that you spent or that you donated. So please consider donating to the Kabbalah Learning Center of Jamaica, again 501c3 in the United States. If you'd like to find out where or how you can do that, you can go to our website, www.kabbalahforjamaicans.com. That's KABBALAH, the number 4, and Jamaicans, JAMAICANS.com. Okay? So please consider that. We also provide cellular service for a handful of our students, actually right now 2, so that they can connect to our programs and to our study. We're here to help those who can't help themselves. And we're here doing the work of the light. You know, Jesus taught us that we should care for the sick and the needy. It's unfortunate that we live in a world of injustice and racism. And there's a lot of inequity, not just iniquity, but inequity in the world. And by feeding the poor, we are generating much light in the universe and kindness. Again, through acts of kindness. And I want to thank Brother Granville Rattigan, who is our captain on the ground in Jamaica, and his group of volunteers for their tireless dedication of this work. Brother Granville, bless up yourself. May Hashem continue to give you the strength and the guidance and provide all for your needs, my friend, as well as your volunteers. So that's what we do. We're on the radio twice a week, Tuesday and Wednesday evening, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. in Jamaica. And we go for about an hour, hour and a half, sometimes two. Tonight will be dedicated to the preparation of Lag Bomer, which is Thursday night. And what we do on Lag Bomer is we meet at the center or wherever we are, and we study. We study the Zohar, which was revealed to Rabbi Shimon by the Creator, so that we could benefit from it in this lifetime and in this dispensation. We're going to play a few lectures tonight from some senior teachers, including Monica Berg, Michael Berg, Eitan Yardeni, to help us to understand the importance of this moment in time, this cosmic opening in time, and how we can tap into it and what it can do for us. Friends, this spirituality is an active one. It's not passive. You must study. As the New Testament tells us, we should study to show ourselves approved, rightly dividing the word of God. We have to learn these secrets so that we can apply them to our lives and live lives of fulfillment and joy and prosperity and health, and to make the world the paradise it was intended to be. My friends, Kabbalah is not a religion. It is spiritual science. Based upon the teachings of the Old Testament, primarily the 5 books of Moses, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. The Zohar is a compilation of conversations, wisdom, revealed by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and conversations between rabbis, several other rabbis, Rabbi Shimon being the main one. And it helps us to connect to the energy of the Torah. The Zohar is written in Aramaic, which is a derivative or dialect of Hebrew. It uses the same 22 Hebrew letters, but it is special in that it comes from a higher place on the tree of life. The Torah comes from the area in the tree of life known as Zeir and Pin, but the Zohar comes from a place above that. It comes from Binah. And for those of us who have been studying, understand that Binah is the mother of Zeir and Pin. The Zohar tells us that the male aspect of the Creator thought, desired, and the female aspect manifested it. Binah is the feminine aspect of the creative force. Abba being the father, and Ima or Bina being the mother. When it says, "Let us create man in our image and our likeness," it was Bina speaking to Abba, to Chokmah. So let us create man in our image and our likeness. And that likeness was not of a physical nature. It was of a spiritual essence. And there, the creation of Zir and Pin and Malhut. If you look at the Tetragrammaton, the Yud Ke Vav Ke, there are two letters that are the same. That's the He. It appears twice. Kabbalah teaches us a secret about the Hebrew language and the letters. Each one carries a unique numerical value, which means they're of the same essence. And we also taught that words that have the same numerical value have the same essence. For instance, the Hebrew word for oneness is echad. It has a numerical value of 13. Similarly, the Hebrew word for love, ahava, numerical value 13. The Hebrew word for unity, oneness, again, numerical value 13, which means that they are of the same essence. So going back now to the Tetragrammaton, the most powerful name of the Creator, okay, the name that was revealed to Moses, the I am that I am. The He is repeated twice. The first He represents the level of Binah. The Yud is Chokmah. The He is Binah. The Vav is Zir and Pin. And then the second He represents Malhut. Now, I always said, wow, I said, if what we're taught is true, that the letters have the same essence, that means that Binah and Malhut must have a similar essence as represented in the letters. And the Zohar tells us that Malhut was made using the same imprint. In a sense, Malhut is a concealed Binah. The energy of Binah is concealed in Malhut. When the Creator said to us in Genesis 1, let there be light, He was speaking to us, meaning we have to be the ones to allow the light to shine out of the darkness. Because remember, the world was without form, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And when the Creator said, let there be light, I know we all get this picture that light suddenly appeared. But He was speaking to us. Because light can only be revealed out of darkness. Light can only be revealed out of darkness. So now you understand why this world is the way it is. We are the ones that through right actions, through right understanding, have to be the ones to allow the light to be revealed. And what is the light? Joy, happiness, peace, righteousness, goodness, mercy, loving family, loving words, wealth, sustenance, all of these qualities. But we've been going about it the wrong way. The scripture tells us there's a way that seems right to man, but the way thereof leads to destruction. Don't we see that in the world? That is why the Zohar has been revealed in this generation, in this dispensation. And we who have been blessed enough to be exposed to it, to be able to study from it, to be able to participate in the distribution of it, we are blessed beyond measure. And a few of the lectures that you're going to hear tonight will help you to understand that. And again, this program is dedicated to preparation for Thursday night, because you don't want to miss that opening. I'm going to be going to the Kabbalah Center in New York City in the evening. We're going to probably spend about 3, 4, 5 hours there. Leave about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning or so. And we're going to be connecting to the soul of Rabbi Shimon and the Zohar. And you guys have any questions? And I want, so for future, if I'm talking and you have any questions, raise your Zoom hand, right? So I see that you have a question. And, I will certainly invite you in to speak. But of course, at any time you want to unmute your mic, you can do so as well.
So I have a question, Brother Joshua.
Yes, Akash.
Why is the number 13 such a powerful number?
Why?
Well, yeah, you explained how it's
love,
symbolic. Yes.
Love
and unity and oneness.
Right. Well, it's not that 13 is so powerful. I mean, obviously, the fact that, okay, we've come to know the number 13 as being powerful because of the words that it represents. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I say love, we understand, the power of love. We understand the power of unity and the importance of unity. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The importance of oneness, togetherness. Right? We understand the value of those words, and therefore when we understand that the Hebrew words representing those concepts, the numerical value is 13, we come to understand that 13 is a very powerful and important number.
Mm-hmm.
Another reason why 13 is very powerful is because it's 1 above 12. What does 12 represent? Well, 12 represents the signs of the zodiac, the 12 tribes of Israel. It represents a completion, a unit. But it's a unit in a somewhat of a lower level. Okay? And 13 is 1 above that, which always represents a higher level. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
In numerology and gematria, which is, the science of words, letters in the Hebrew language, gematria, right? That's why. I'm sorry.
I was saying that's interesting because if the number 12 is correspondent to a unit, and then 1 above that 13 is correspondent to 1 or oneness, it's kind of like taking it one step further of like
exactly
a unit to a 1.
Exactly. That's correct. That's right. Mm-hmm. Good observation.
Thank you.
Yep. Let's see. Okay.
Yes, Joshua, good evening. Good evening, Akash.
Good evening, Brother Sean. Good evening.
Good evening, Brother Sean.
All right, as you said, 12 tribes, right?
Yeah.
And all of them have a father. So picture the 13th person being the father.
Go ahead. I'm listening. Sean, you there? I think the internet flake out a second on Sean. I want to hear his thought. But yeah, Kash, 13 is very powerful.
Who is
And you
the
said the
father
word
of
was
the 12?
oh,
You went blank for a second there, Sean. You said
Yeah, man.
think of Jacob as the 13th. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Exactly. So, we have
Why are we
12
thinking of
different.
Jacob as the 13th when he actually is the one?
Exactly. When you use the word 13, you know, it's
really
three
one.
with
It's really one.
three without. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Unity one. From the one came the 12. And one above the 12.
It's three without one. Father, right?
Yeah. It goes
Exactly.
above. So really,
Exactly.
yeah. So when you say
And it's
going above
also
the 12, okay, I see where you're going with this. Going above the
yeah.
12 is 13, and the one who's above the 12 is Jacob, is Israel.
Yes.
I like that. Good
So
analogy. Good observation.
it's a chain of command in Joshua.
Yes.
That's what life is about. And then if we insubordinate to we superior, we're going to have to pay the price. You know,
I like that.
anything. If you go to the workplace and you don't perform how you should, then you have a taskmaster above you that neutralize your negativity. Because it's either you stop or you're going to comply with the rules and regulations.
Right.
So as soon as man say, God make everything for we already, and we want to go work, it will pass we discomfort, you know, because the Father already create everything for you. So you being a spoiled child want to create for yourself, you're going to cause a mess.
Well,
So
I like what you're saying.
It's a chain of command still with we not listening to the one soul.
Yeah, we need to go above. It actually represents. Okay, for instance, right? During the Hamotzi, at the end of a connection, right? Where they bless the bread and the wine. Yes. You hear them say that they use 12 loaves of bread, which represents the 12 tribes of Israel, which represents the unit of spirituality, a complete unit of spirituality, right? The 12 facets, 12 aspects. They say that the person who is doing the Hamotzi is considered the 13th, which is one above the 12. Similar to what you're saying, Sean, right? The 13th, the one who brings everything together. Because that one was fragmented into 12.
Yeah, man, the general, big G.
Yeah. That one was fragmented into 12. And when we do the Hamotzi, we're bringing the 12 back to one and rising above. Because if we stay at the 12, we're going to stay locked into physicality and into our nature, right? Naturality.
Exactly, being a man. But when you go one above, when you go one above.
Yeah. You need to go above that. Rise above.
Yeah.
Rise above that nature.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
That's what it represents.
Yeah, man. God is love.
Indeed. Oneness. God is love. God is one. God is unified. So Akash, thank you so much for bringing that up. 13, it generated very good discussion. Powerful. And to you listeners, if you ever want to reach us, my WhatsApp number is country code +1 516 965 5700. Again, that's country code +1 516 965 5700. I am going to take a quick break, play a tune, and then when we come back, we're going to get into a little bit more discussion of the Zohar, and then I'm going to play a few lectures of which will really, really reveal some amazing, amazing secrets of the Zohar. Yes? You're listening to Diaspora Connection featuring Kabbalah for Jamaicans. Again, my name is Joshua. Here is Sizzla.
Just organize and centralize my people because Babylon now.
Good waves.
It's still malicious and grudged upon my people now. You see the dirty lifestyle? In them system of which they create all around. And they criticize their own children. Yeah, they would catch at a straw if they were to drown. They're not different from those scribes and Pharisees who come around. They lurks in the corners, skylarks on the streets, flirts in the towns. They never do positive. They find a joy making people business their own. Dance a yard before you dance abroad. The high priest tell you that I knew they from God and go get good ways. True grace, of the perch we pass a young gate. You have the good ways, it give you long days. Now take no bribe from not a screw face, go get good ways. Good grace, perch we pass a young gate. You have some good ways, it give you long days. What do you say? I tell you now, they await your downfall. Figure Labanta. Yo, what is that? Greater joy, I come, miss on your figure. Have a donkey job, would fill off. When Babylon City, I got down propaganda, where them spread becomes a dagger to them heart. Things say them have a secret. The baby reveal it, so them a walk witchcraft out. So them better, so them a closing. Contempt the youth, them where they pass. Every man is equal. Rastafari say, try not on the ungodly part. God and go get good ways. Long days, birds be pass a young gate. What about your good ways? It give you length of days. Yo, now you taste how you medicine they taste. Yeah, what? What's them now? I thought about them this, them that. Who slick from who flap, them some ass Joe Bush and anything else where fi come across the rubbish and trash. Every day that them practice the same thing they never yet know when to stop. Full up a bad mind. Then I will make you have to see your brother drop. Go and have some good ways. First before you pass iron gate and have some good ways. It give you long days. Now them chase out them medicine they taste. Good ways, long days. Now let the King Selassie tune no screw face. Good ways, it give you length of days. Now take no bribe from no screw face. Just have some good ways, it give you length of days. This I want a true face. I tell you now, there's nothing in the system that they'll create around. They criticize their own hygiene, yet they would catch at us for if they were to drown. Don't you see they're not much different from the scribes and the Pharisees who come around?
Wow. You know, there's one line in there where I'm say, that the people say, Mass Joe Bush come already and tell me the story. So anything else will come, I must say rubbish and trash. Right? What does he mean by that? Sean, tell me what I mean by that. Sean, you're on mute. All right, maybe Sean step away. Yeah.
No, I'm here, man.
What does he mean by that?
You get the truth already, so why you coming with this garbage to him?
Right. So then believe a Mass Joe Bush tell him.
Yeah.
Right? The slave master.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of being open to the truth, them still live by that which they were taught.
Yeah, accepting who oppress them, they accept
Imagine
their
that.
philosophy and life.
Yeah.
Much more.
Yeah.
You know, that's why only for people, when we go to give out the Zohar, even though you explain it to a T to them, they're going to say this one.
Sean's phone went out again. Internet connection. Yeah. Yeah, people have a difficult time accepting it because it's different from what they know. And a lot of people are not
Doesn't
open.
give to us by our, yeah, man. They really tell people, you hear me?
You chipped up
You
for a
hear me?
second there. Go again. We heard up until the point where you say when you give out the Zohar. Oh, I'm gone again.
All right.
Yeah.
You see, based off of it wasn't given. Okay. I can see if I can move up. If I can graduate from not having internet service. I'm going to move closer to the box.
Well, it may not just be that, it could be just the bandwidth of the area people are using at this
Man,
time.
yeah, because no, but you see the funniest thing? I was on YouTube and other stuff that, same connection, and they're working. So
No problem.
Exactly. Exactly. So you see Bush come in again.
Yeah.
Bush not give a time or a chance to talk.
Yeah, for real. But, I'm glad to hear that you were giving out the Zohars, Sean, because really and truly that is what it is all about, eh? And
with me, Joshua, if I may say facts and truth and other thing, I go and push it to the utmost because I love positive messages. I love hearing it and I love with others hear it too. So the whole way of information, life become easier for us. When a man don't know, you understand.
That's it.
It causes a lot of problem.
Yep. A lot of problem. So that's what we're here to do, to educate our people, in matters of spirituality and life, because a lot of people separate spirituality from their lives, and it wasn't intended to do that. Spirituality has been given to us to enhance our lives. You really can't live a fulfilled life. Huh?
No matter get this wife, they can't get it. Anywhere they can't get their hands on one, get it. Because it helped me a lot. I mean, it will help you too. Once you open up your mind and your soul, you get it. You understand?
Yep. So I am going to play a lecture from Monica Berg. And when was this done? This was done last year. No, actually I recorded in 2022. So this is very significant. I'm going to love you to hear this from Monica Berg, who is the wife of Michael Berg, the spiritual director of the Kabbalah Center and the son of the late Rav Berg. So let's see. Lag Bormer from Dark to Light.
If only the world knew what an important day tonight was. I think we so often focus on things that don't really have the ability to influence us or change the trajectory of our lives, our consciousness. We celebrate Valentine's Day, we celebrate so many things and put a lot of energy and thought there. But this day is so powerful that it's that I actually don't even feel the right to speak about it, is how powerful it is. Often, I put myself out there in the world and I connect in ways that that don't seem obvious. Basically, I say yes to most things. If I'm given the opportunity to do something or to connect in a way outside of myself, I'll say yes. And a question I get very often is, how did you start your path? How did you start to speak about the things you speak about or write the books you've written? What was it? And obviously it was finding the center at 17, but what does that really mean? It was finding a wisdom, a truth, which, by the way, it will be the 100th year anniversary of the center this fall. And it was finding that wisdom where any lack that I felt as a child, any insecurity, unsafety, not feeling that anybody around me had the answers. I grew up in a loving home, but not necessarily a spiritual home. It was the first time that any single fear I had, why is there evil in the world? Why is there good and bad? What is our purpose? What is our existence for? How do we find our unique ability to do things in the world? It was the first time that every single question, even questions I hadn't thought of, there were answers to. And it's in this book, which you can't even call it a book. It's in this wisdom. It's in this truth. And I think it's easy to say, oh, it's a bunch of information I can't understand. It's in a language that is of a foreign tongue to me. And yeah, I understand it's protection, but there's other things I can do to protect myself. And I think that's how we really fall, and we misunderstand what we have at our fingertips. I think the fact that anybody who's come here tonight or who's joining us online, the fact that you are here, whether you realize it or not, means your soul is connected to this truth. Don't underestimate the power of that and how much it can influence you day to day. I met with somebody, often I get this question, but this past weekend somebody was saying, how do I, and she's been studying a long time, how do I get to the place where I can parent, but not from a place of fear, how I can influence my children, but not want to control them? And for me, it was an easy kind of, I've been practicing it with our children. We talk about it a lot. You want to be able to nurture them. You want to invest in them. You want to help grow them. You want to help them realize their potential. And it's through this wisdom, through this truth that you're able to do that. But you really have to let go and you have to lean into certainty. And of course, that's not really new if you think about it, but it's the execution that's most difficult. And then 2 days later, I realized in my own struggle, well, what if you're trying to grow a center, right? It's a more responsibility. And as I feel that I get more responsibility, I feel the weight of that. And then I realized I'm doing what my friend was doing as a parent, right? It's all on me to be able to create, or it's my ability that's going to build something. It's not. Everything is energy. Whether it's a business, whether it's a relationship, whether it's parenting a child. And I can promise you that the only way that you will be able to navigate that successfully and understand your role in it and derive purpose and meaning from things in your life that happen, the challenges, the obstacles, it's only through this wisdom. There's nothing else. Sure, we will find other modalities. We will find other tools. We'll find ways to help ourselves center our mind through meditation and through yoga and through exercise. It's all body and mind and spirit. But I can tell you, matter-of-factly, without any doubt, that any question that you may ever have, that you haven't even thought of yet in your lifetime, the answer to that is in this wisdom. And because of that, I feel honestly like a fraud even talking about it, because do I utilize that wisdom as much as that I can? No, because you get busy in the day-to-day, you get busy with other things, you're pulled here and there. But it's to make that time to really delve deep into it. And I think that often when we go through life and we go through pain and we go through challenges, we think that, okay, if I'm stronger, right? If I'm more spiritual, whatever that means, if I'm grounded, then I'm going to get through it. And sure, to some extent that's true, but it only gets you so far. Because at the end of the day, at some point, you will doubt your own ability to do it or to get through. You will doubt your own ability to have clarity when you have doubt. You will feel weak sometimes, and other times you'll feel stronger. The only thing, you're well, where you go back to the source and you fill your tank, the only place to do that is by studying the wisdom, and it's studying the Zohar. So this day is more profound than I think any of us realize. But again, the fact that you're here, that you were drawn to come tonight to celebrate this 33rd day of the Omer in a more dark time as we know it, means that your soul recognizes truth. And don't underestimate that. And again, I don't want to be too morbid, but I think it's important when we're talking about a day like today, when you have experienced loss or grief, or challenges of your own or pain, you can get stuck in that emotion. And I had the thought today also, when we lose people, sometimes we hear they left before their time. They didn't live out their life. They left too soon. And I think that I always thought, actually, until today, that it was assumed that when a person leaves the world, I thought this is more the younger version of myself, the more naive version, that they would have left when they had done everything that they had intended to do, which is silly because how many people really do that? How many of us really are able to manifest, achieve what's in our heart, our desire, our souls? And I can tell you, as much as I've tried many, many things, it's always going back to this wellspring of knowledge, because in it is everything. It's what was, it's what will be, it is what is now. There is nothing else. And I just don't want us to underestimate that, because most of us really leave before we've accomplished what we thought we would. And if we read about Rabbi Akiva, great Kabbalist, he had 24,000 students. All of them died except for 5, and he chose to go on and persevere and study and learn and teach. And because of that, we had Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who was a student of his. And Rav Ashlag had a teacher. He was only able to study with him for a few months before he passed. The Rav had the same story with his teacher. In every situation, they persevered, even through the challenges, even through the pain. So I guess if I could leave you with one message is, don't take any of that too seriously, because it's really nothing in the big picture. It's a moment in time when really we're meant to do more than we can ever imagine. And in order to do that, it's to go back to the wellspring of truth and knowledge that we have the blessing and the merit to have access to.
I tell you, when I heard this lecture from Monica the first time, I was like, wow, she's spot on. Spot on.
This was from when, Joshua?
Well, it says that it was recorded originally in 2022.
2022, okay.
It was published in 2024, last year.
You could hear how big her heart is when she feels the empathy for others.
Yeah. And but wow, she made some very, very big points. And I mean, if
she summed it up. She summed up everything right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, to help people to understand the significance and the importance, and I'm actually I was gonna mention to you, consider coming down on Thursday, because it's the most powerful night really of the year, where we can connect to the power of the Zohar and Rabbi Shimon.
What time is it on Thursday?
I think it opens up at I think we usually get there like around 10 or 11 p.m. Actually, no. I think it's at 7 p.m. or something like that.
I'll go on to Kabbalah.com and see the exact.
Yeah. It's something that you have to register for. It's a pay what you can, But let me tell you something. You if it's going to be your first time, you're really going to know. You connect powerfully to the Zohar, and it will also give you more of an energy, right? To whatever you're doing with the Zohar, it's going to amplify it.
Okay.
All right.
It going until morning?
Yeah, usually about 1, 2. I mean, some people stay later and study, but no, usually about 1, 2 o'clock. You see, it's almost like a mini Shavuot, and Shavuot is an all-nighter, right? It's called the inner aspect of Shavuot. Yeah, very, very, very powerful time. And so definitely consider it, I wanna play from Aitan. Ooh, let's see. All right, let's see what Michael says here.
As we are preparing for Lag BaOmer, I'd like to share with you some consciousness and understanding and what we can do to prepare for the most powerful connection, and also as it relates to hopefully inspiring all of us to do even more to bring the great light of the Zohar to the world. We know that the seed moment of any revelation, of any light, is its most powerful. In the seed, you can have everything. You have to awaken everything. For us, Lag BaOmer is the birth, the renewal of the birth of the light of the Zohar. The light that is going to be revealed to us and to the world on this Lag BaOmer is different than what was revealed last Lag BaOmer and this past year. So there has to be a renewal of connection, a renewal of light as it relates to our connection to the Zohar. And I want to remind myself and all of us something that the Rav, my father, made clear throughout his life. I remember countless and countless moments around the dissemination of the Zohar, the light of the Zohar in the world, the joy the Rav showed when the first English translation volumes went to print, the joy the Rav had and the desire the Rav had to send Zohars certainly to all the places in the world that were experiencing or have seeds of darkness within them. And I was thinking and reflecting about my relationship with the Zohar, especially as it relates to the Rav, my father. And I've shared this before, and I've shared this in some of our books, but sometime after the Rav left this physical world, I had a dream with the Rav. And in that dream, the Rav did not tell me something I did not know before, I didn't hear before. But for me, it was, the Rav would use this phrase often, an ancient phrase, makebe patish. It was the final blow that really crystallized forever for me my understanding around the Zohar, and I hope it does this for you as well. In this dream that I had after the Rav left this physical world, the Rav came to me and said, it's all about the Zohar. It's all about the Zohar. A very simple phrase. And that's something, again, that was new because I had heard this and experienced this for years upon years with the Rav. But hearing it in that way, with the clarity of voice that the Rav had, for me was the culmination, crystallization of a truth that I hold on to forever. And therefore, I want all of us, as we come to this Lag BaOmer, to really awaken this clarity that everything that we came to do in this world, both individually, and all the goodness and light that we need to reveal in our world, all comes back to the light within the Zohar. And therefore, at the foundation of the center's work, and hopefully of each of our individual work, is both to connect to the light of the Zohar and to do everything we can to disseminate its light in the world. The light of the Zohar, and specifically as it's reawakened for us on Lag BaOmer, is the light to live a life beyond the realm of nature. Yes, the world goes on in its path, and if we're not careful, our life goes in a routine. But that's not why we are in this world. We are in this world to create a life for ourselves and a change in the world that is beyond nature. The most powerful tool that we have for that is the light of the Zohar. And therefore, as we prepare for Lag BaOmer, as we prepare on Lag BaOmer, this has to be our focus. I want to live a life beyond nature. I want my blessings to be beyond the norm. I want our world to be elevated out of its normal state of chaos into a higher realm of light and blessings and peace and goodness. And I know that the most powerful tool that I have, that we have, that the world has, is the light of the Zohar. And that's what we want to awaken. With that, I'm reminded of something Rav Ashlag told his students in the early years of their study. Rav Ashlag, as many of you know, the founder of the center, the first person to really reveal all the secrets of the Zohar to the world. He says to his students who were studying with him, I want you to know that more powerful than your study with me, more powerful than your study of the Zohar, is anything that you can do to assist its dissemination to the world. More important, they were studying with the greatest Kabbalists, certainly of our century or centuries, maybe ever. But he said, this study, powerful important, not to diminish its importance, but not as powerful, and therefore not as able to awaken a life beyond nature as what you can do. In his days, it was both donating to the printing of the original translation of Rav Ashlag, the Sulam with the Zohar, and also going around the world to disseminate the books, the light of the Zohar. More powerful than any personal connection that you have. And of course, it makes all the sense. We know in Kabbalistic terms, there's two forces, receiving and sharing. And receiving is important. We all enjoy receiving. We all do receive both physical and spiritual gifts. But where is the greatest light? That which we share. So certainly as that comes to our relationship with the Zohar, how will you be more connected to the essence of the light of the Zohar on this Lag BaOmer and for the rest of your life, certainly for the rest of the year, to be able to live a life beyond the norm? Yes, you have to make your connection, your study, your constant, hopefully daily connection to the Zohar. But more powerful than that, to connect to the Zohar, is asking yourself, what am I doing to bring this light to others? Because by bringing the light of the Zohar to others, I will awaken more of the light of the Zohar for me than any level of connection that I personally received from it. And therefore, Rav Ashlag told the students the simple truth. Important that you study, that you connect to this great light in order to bring great blessings into your life.
You hear that? Greater than studying the Zohar is you giving it out and spreading it to more people.
But more powerful is what are you doing on a consistent basis to bring this light to others, to bring this light to the world. And I'm also reminded of something that I mention often, but it's important, especially as we are preparing our soul, our vessel for Lag BaOmer. The Rav, in his early years of studying with his teacher, Rav Brandwein, asked him a very straightforward question. We know that Kabbalistically, and those certainly who were true Kabbalists, as Rav Brandwein and as the Rav developed into, there is what's called Kabbalah Masit. You can call it magic. It's translated as practical Kabbalah. And the Rav, when he began, he understood two things from Rav Brandwein. One, that it's important to study, but second, that it's more important to raise money and to disseminate this wisdom. So as the Rav began that process, really for the first time in his life, trying to raise money to have people dedicate the publication of the Zohar, he asked his teacher, Rav Brandwein, he says, can I tell them that you will use practical Kabbalah, maybe amulets, all kinds of different things that I can give them, that I can promise them, if they help the support of the dissemination of the Zohar, that you will do for them. Rav Brandwein corrected the Rav and hopefully awakens for all of us a very important consciousness. He says, I don't deal with practical Kabbalah. I'm sure he knew it. I'm sure he could deal with it. He says, basically, because I don't need to. Because I have a much more powerful tool. He says a crazy phrase to the Rav. You can promise anybody who assists in the dissemination of the light of the Zohar in the world, financially or otherwise, anything they want. We don't need practical Kabbalah. All we need is the dissemination, to be involved in the dissemination of this greatest light in the world.
Guys, do you hear this? Can it be any more clear? Now it's whether or not we believe it or not.
I'm saying for myself, for all of us, why am I excited for this Lag BaOmer? Because I am going to deepen my commitment and hopefully my ability, and then in the next 12 months, actually manifesting greater dissemination. Why? Because I remember what Rav Brandwein, the great Kabbalist, told the Rav. You don't need magic, you don't need practical Kabbalah. You want to have the blessings, whatever area, health, business, family, spiritual development. Don't need any magic or tools other than one question. How much more can I do to disseminate this great light of the Zohar in the world? And then, as in the words of Rav Brandwein, promise yourself anything. Promise yourself anything. And therefore, as we come to Lag BaOmer, I want to awaken all of us to a greater commitment. Do whatever you can, especially in the days leading up to Lag BaOmer, on Lag BaOmer. Not because, it's the right thing to do, it's a powerful thing to do, it's a spiritual thing to do, but I need to live a life beyond nature. One solution. What am I doing to bring the Zohar to one more person, to 100 more people, to 1,000 more people, to 1,000,000 more people? We set a goal to disseminate 1,000,000 Zohars, a crazy, outlandish number, but we have reached almost halfway towards that goal. We have so far this year disseminated over 400,000 Zohars. The Zohar tells us, Besifra da yifkun Israel migaluta. This is the tool, this is the light that will change both our individual lives and our world. All we need to do is to dedicate and rededicate and re-energize ourselves in all ways that we can to get the light of the Zohar revealed in the world for our family, for our friends, for the rest of humanity. And therefore I call upon all of us. One of the important focuses for the center, for our students in this Lag BaOmer, is not just a general dissemination, but also to make sure that every one of our students is inspired and awakened to make sure that every single one of their family members, near and far, every single one of their friends has a Zohar. So I ask you to practically make a commitment that there will not be one member of your family that doesn't have at least the Zohar, or the sacred Zohar, or the set. Not one friend of yours that does not have a Zohar, a sacred Zohar, a Pinchas Zohar, a sacred Zohar, or the set, or the amulet, or the locket with the Zohar. We have to make a greater commitment, because as we look in the world, it is clear that there are no practical solutions. Yes, you have to work in the natural physical world to try to find solutions, but the true solution is the revelation of the greatest light of the Creator through the Zohar in our world. And therefore, the greatest preparation for ourselves individually is to make sure that we do everything we can and redouble our efforts, physically, spiritually, to bring the light of the Zohar to the world. And therefore I call upon, as I remember the words of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the words of Rav Ashlag, the words of Reb Brandwein, I call upon every single one of us, including myself, do more, give more. There's nothing more powerful that we can do, that we must do for ourselves, for our family, and for the world, is to do everything we can, whether it's through donation, whether it's through volunteering in the Zohar project, whether it's through our own connection, but make sure that you're making a commitment to do more. And Bezrat Hashem, with these commitments and with these actions of donation, of volunteering, of dissemination, we will see in our own lives and in the world a change manifested by the great light of the Zohar. Besifra da yifkun min galuta. Only through the revelation of the light of the Zohar into the world will our own lives and our world be transformed from a world of chaos, of darkness, into a world of light and goodness. Bezrat Hashem. Chag Sameach.
Well, there we have it, folks. Again, can it be any more clear? Akash, I heard you mention that you're going to try and make it on Thursday. My friend, it would be the best investment you make into your life at this time of your life. The best.
Yeah, I really want to go. I'm just curious, how does parking work in the city?
Well, you can park after 7:30 on 3rd Avenue, which is right by the center, 3rd Avenue and 48th Street.
Mm-hmm.
But they have parking places. I mean, you have to get there. I think it's 7, after 7. I think it starts 7 or 7:30, where you can park anywhere on the street. Well, I mean, not anywhere, but a lot of street parking opens up on 3rd Avenue after 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then if I heard correctly, it goes from Thursday evening up until Friday morning?
Yeah, we're there for a couple of hours. I mean, you can leave whenever you want to. Let me see. When does it open?
I think I saw 5:10 in the morning.
Oh, okay then. Yeah. It's let's see. But if you can do that, you do that. If a person can't do it, it is. Let me see. Here.
Don't wrong, Akash, get the full experience, yes. If you can do it all night, do it.
Mm-hmm.
7:45 opens up. Okay, yeah, so from 10:30 p.m. is when the study begins. So doors open up and we have some refreshments at 7:45. They always have a band or some people playing music starting at 8:30 p.m. and then, consciousness like what you just saw.
Mm-hmm.
And more information about the Zohar project, what's been going on around the world. And then starting at 10:30 is the all-night study. So it's until
Mm-hmm.
it's until you don't have to stay until 4:45 because you won't be particularly joining the morning connection and morning prayers. So I usually don't stay. But I come home and I'll do my prayers at home. But yeah, that's the schedule. And this is the great part. Various speakers and deep classes throughout the latter portion of the night. You hear some real interesting lectures, eye openers, and they're going to be talking about the Global Zohar Project as well. And matter of fact, I think I'm definitely going to say some things about what's happening and what we've been doing in Jamaica. But yeah, it's important to give out the Zohars. It's important to spread the light. Right? And let's see. Oh, all right. Let's hear what Eitan says about being a remover of darkness. So Michael says here.
Our purpose tonight is to create such a strong connection, the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, to the concept that we said before, Patach Rabbi Shimon, that we will have the ability always and in all areas to open up all the gates and all the blessings that we need. And I will repeat this over and over tonight, as I do to myself. You don't want to miss the opportunity, Chas v'Shalom, to maximize your connection on this day to the opening of all the gates that you will need for the rest of the year. So I'd like to share one more teaching from Rav Ashlag about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. There's a story mentioned, it's mentioned in the song that we just sang, that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, it says he purified the city of Tiberias. He purified the city of Tiberias, of Tveria. So Rav Ashlag asked the question, we know that in our world what we call purity and impurity represents either a connection or disconnection to the source of what's called death. When a person's soul leaves their body, for most people, it creates an energy of lack. And that, the Kabbalists teach, is very difficult from a home, or from any place that it happens, to remove that energy of lack. So the secret, Rav Ashlag says, when it says Tihar et ir Tveria, as we say in the song, which is that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai purified, it is because at the essence, at the core of the work of all the great souls, and in this case, the work of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, it was the following. And again, we'll read these words from Rav Ashlag, which again, hopefully, as I said, for me and for all of us, tonight is not about hearing any information or even wisdom. It's about elevating to a new state of connection to the light of the Zohar, to the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So he says, Kol hatikunim v'ha'avodah shel hatzadikim. What is all the work of all the righteous souls, and of course, predominantly the light and the work of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, leva'er tumat mavet, to remove from our world the force of death, the force that brings, of course, an end to physical life, but really the force that brings an end to anything in our world. Tumat haklipot, all the forces that cause us darkness and lack. We know that that's not part of the plan, but it's a part that we experience all the time. V'zoi kol hamilchama shel kol hatzadikim shebechol hadorot. And this is the battle, really, of all of us, but they're called the righteous or the elevated souls, or those who really take it upon themselves. If you ask Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, what are you doing in this world? What's your desire? What do you want to accomplish? He would say, I want to remove the force of death from this world. I want to remove what's called the force of the klipot, of negativity from this world. Ad Gemara Tikkun, until the end of the correction, ubila hamavet lanetzach, and to remove death forever from this world. Of course, as we said before, we can use the light of the Zohar all the time that we need to open up gates. But the real purpose of the Zohar, and the real purpose of the life of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and the energy that we're connecting to tonight, is the ability, because that's the goal, of course, to remove from our world all the forces and sources of darkness and light, lack, and death. And to at least begin to diminish the forces of negativity in this world. So that the light of the Creator and all the blessings that come with that should be able to flow more and more. So when it says that, for instance, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he purified the town of Tveria, what it means is that this was really the essence of his life. And that, of course, again, is the light of the Zohar. Why do we say you don't want to go anywhere without a Zohar? Because the force and the light of the Zohar, if there's darkness, it goes away. Whenever the light of Shimon Bar Yochai and the light of the Zohar is revealed, its entire purpose is to remove more and more what's called the klipot, the negative forces, the tum'ah, the negative forces that bring any lack that exists in our own lives and in the world. So what we want to today, tonight, is for each one of us to more strongly have the ability to remove darkness. But again, you have to live with this consciousness. It's easy in life, certainly for those of us, but even for those of us who spend most of our time in spiritual pursuit, but certainly for those of us who don't, to forget, why am I alive? Why are you alive? Why are we all alive? In truth, for only one reason. Only one reason. To remove darkness. To remove darkness. Wherever there's lack, wherever there's pain, certainly wherever there's death. And there's no more powerful tool to enable that work than the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and the light of the Zohar.
Hear it.
So, what I want all of us to ask, because tonight, as we said, is a night to keep asking. What I'm asking for myself and B'ezrat Hashem for all of us here, all of us who are streaming, we want to ask to be more connected, to be more powerful because of our deepening connection to the light of the Zohar and to the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that I become a more powerful remover of what's called tum'ah, negativity, darkness, and ultimately, together, collectively, the force of death from our world. That's the only reason we're here. The tzaddikim, yes, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai understood it in a way that unfortunately most of us do not yet understand it. But what we want to ask for tonight is to be able to live consistently with the consciousness, my work in this world, your work in this world, the taher, to purify the world from all the forces of negativity and darkness. And there's no more powerful support for that work than the light of the Zohar. So we want to ask, as I said again, tonight, yes, we will be sharing some words, call it wisdom or teachings, but really, tonight is a night of experiencing and asking for more. And for me, and B'ezrat Hashem, and I ask all of us to be awakened to ask, why do I want to live? What is the real purpose? Yes, we all have accomplishments maybe that we want to do and other things that we want to have in our lives and accomplish in our lives. But at the core, our purpose in this world is to remove darkness and collectively to remove the ultimate darkness. That's the secret of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. That is the secret of the light of the Zohar and why we must connect to it consistently. Because that's why I'm in this world. I want to have both the understanding, the desire, and the strength to be a remover of darkness from this world. And all of that, the understanding for that, the desire, and the ability to do that, you draw tonight. You draw tonight. Throughout this evening, again, we'll be sharing more thoughts, more desires, but as I said, it's one of these nights. Grab every moment with consciousness, with desire, with request. You will see. I can tell you personally that I've experienced it, and I'm sure many of us have. Maximize every moment of this day, this great day of connection, And now we, again, as I said, we want to awaken our desire for the real purpose of our lives, which is to remove darkness. And then we want to awaken both the desire to do it and the strength to do it with the greatest remover of death, the greatest remover of darkness that has ever existed, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, manifested in the light of the Zohar, B'ezrat Hashem.
Yeah, man.
It's powerful. It's powerful. So I admonish all of you guys to make the effort to connect to it.
Yeah.
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 Raquel, if you call, I'll get somebody to stream.
Yeah, man. Everybody that can make it should make it.
Should make it. Again, the effort. The effort is more important than the action itself.
Okay.
Yeah, when you sincerely and earnestly try your best to make it, that effort generates a lot more light than just getting there, than showing up. So
it said something very interesting, For instance, when I am able to share what I have, I feel much better. Without expectation, I always have a good life. You like that planet out that we just if you follow so.
Yeah. Yep. So the fact that you've been giving out Zohars, Sean, is a wonderful thing. Yeah, because this is what it's all about. Let the Zohar do its work. Let the Zohar do its work. So, yeah, it's matter of fact, I have one of the students down in Miami. He's from Venezuela. He made a commitment to distribute 10,000 Zohars. So I'm in the process of working with him to get a barrel full of Pinkasim sent to Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. As we speak.
And we have a central point too, because basically Caribbean.
Oh, Jamaica.
Jamaica is
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff coming from Jamaica through the Jamaican waters anywhere. So a perfect location. And Venezuela is a nice country too.
Well, yeah, it's a nice country beauty-wise, but their economy is gone to pits.
Got people in some kind of make-believe famine and you understand? Chaotic. That's why we always find the best people in some chaotic situation.
Well, because cream always rises to the top.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Before long, I can't tell you when Jamaican really catch on to this thing, a wildfire for them. You understand?
Yeah, it should
be. Through them fans, so them get tricked already, them kind of slow coach about it, they rather stay with the evil with them know as them. They rather stick to the evil.
Yep.
Because even the thing about that was written in the Zohar about the beacon of light and stuff. I don't know if I was sharing what I give one of my friend the book and he read from cover to cover. He read, you understand, first time people open book and just read any page, him start with the outside cover, what was written, who write it and all of that. So when he reached to the part of where I was telling you about, whoever read the book, I hope they find the light and all of that. Right. And then go see the word illuminate. Yeah. The first thing come to it's illuminate.
Look at that, eh?
So I say, Judge, you just stop the saying and read with more information.
Think it have something to do with Illuminati.
Exactly. So start laugh. Yeah, sir.
Yeah.
But before long, I'm a virgin, so I know that I'm always interested when him see we constantly
right.
this there. So just have to give him a little time.
Yeah.
The truth will reveal itself. It just need a little time and for who have time for it.
That's it.
And some people don't want to hear none time. You can't force them.
No. And there's no coercion in spirituality. So
exactly.
Let's see what the Rav says here.
When a tzaddik leaves this physical world, it does not mean his soul has left the world. The soul has no limitation whatsoever. It transcends all of the limitations that the physical reality has. For all of us, there are two realities. There's the one reality, the physical world, of which we are told represents maybe 1% of reality. How much is 1%? How it can't be overthrown in a matter of seconds. But it's so strong. And we've gone to a point where we have forgotten that there is a real reality known as Tree of Life reality. Tree of Life reality. And in fact, if we look at the Torah, when it speaks of the Tree of Life, it says clearly that the Tree of Life is an endless and supernal book of Kabbalah. With the help of Lag BaOmer, where Rabbi Shimon's renewal of positivity becoming the rule of the game and not negativity. Let's figure out how we can live together and save all that energy and time to help us in our mission of bringing the world together as one unified whole. And so when we see the Zohar will bring us to a place where we will all be content, all of us. So the instrument, the physical instrument,
So, let's see. That was the Rav. Oh, there was a second lecture from the Rav that I wanted to play as well. Here.
on this day, he chose to leave this world. And the word for leaving this world is listalka min alma. And as tradition has it, that the reason that he left was because Satan, who created this playing field of pain, suffering, and misery and chaos, came to the Creator and said, look, you've created me to create a playing field by which man would be tested and which he would have the opportunity to correct and mend his ways. As long as Rabbi Shimon's presence is felt in this universe, I have no purpose here. I cannot function. I cannot maintain a playing field. In other words, no man, no woman, no child would be bent on any negative activity. Because the light of Rabbi Shimon is so powerful that before someone can begin to embark on a negative course, because of my influence, immediately, that activity would be altered, changed into one of positivity. So there is actually no purpose for my continuing to be the manager of this playing field. Rabbi Shimon then accepted the decision that he would have to leave so as to permit Satan to continue to manage his playing field. And so this has been the interpretation year after year. As I was preparing a discourse for our people in Israel who are presently at the Idr Rabbah, I delivered my discourse, which was entirely different and new from any that I had given in the past. Because suddenly the word Listalka min alma can mean to depart, but that same word, Lisalik, means to rid of. Listalek, you can interpret as Rabbi Shimon departing from this earthly existence. But in view of everything that is being revealed in our time, which essentially adds up to one idea and one idea alone, and that is to remove that physicality wherein chaos becomes manifested, embedded. And so when the Zohar states that what makes this day so special as I had never before understood, that on this day, Hod Shebahod, Rabbi Shimon chose this particular date so that he could remove all of the barriers that the physical manifestation, the physicality that we are familiar with, places upon us. That by connecting as we are this evening, and with a consciousness to understand that Rabbi Shimon already had laid the groundwork for us. He had indeed shown and proven the way in which we remove not physicality, but the obstacles of physicality. And with this idea, just to understand it somewhat and a bit deeper, this physicality, the instrument that prevents me from walking through that wall, is negative. But Rabbi Shimon could walk through that wall. Why? Because he had converted, as nanotechnology demands today, to convert physicality, that it no longer represent something of a negative nature. The negative aspect of physicality being uprooted, no longer having its influence, then it should heal in a moment, because the healing powers are already embedded within every human being. That cancerous tumor, that physicality, only represents a physical entity gone haywire or gone negative. But with Rabbi Shimon's support today, we can convert, and it was meant to be converted, nanotechnology, force of physicality, which has plagued mankind since the sin of Adam, has now finally met its day. It met its day tonight when Rabbi Shimon influenced, established the precedence of removing all negativity from every physical entity that exists on this universe. And this was the idea of the splitting of the Red Sea, taking out the negative aspects of the Red Sea. And consequently, it could not drench the clothing of the Israelites as they walked through. Now, that's a new concept because we are so familiar with what water can do in its rage. It can flood, create disaster. But that is not what it was meant to be at the time of creation. It was only after the sin that things became mixed up. But now we want to undo and remove that mixture of good and evil. We want to refer back to the time of the tree of life, that flawless universe, because the physical elements originally, at the time of creation, never were meant to be a hindrance or limitation upon our movement. But it is strange what Rabbi Shimon goes on to say in this opening paragraph, where Rabbi Shimon in the Idre Rabbah revealed the secrets of the Zohar, the secrets of Kabbalah, the secrets of the universe. Before embarking on this revelation, he asked that each companion embrace the one next to him. Each become one unit, for this seemed to be a requirement. And unfortunately, the one obstacle that still remains, the sole requirement, as Hillel had stated, Rabbi Akiva had stated, do not do unto others that which is odious unto you. It's the only requirement, my friends. For us to achieve that kind of consciousness doesn't require more than the idea that we remove hate from our lexicon, from our consciousness. And is it because we are to be righteous? And the answer is no. Is it for morality? And the answer is no. Is it because it's ethical? And the answer is no. It is simply the only impediment to acquire the unity of consciousness that is required to overturn the limitations of time, space, and motion. Is it a short order? The answer is no. Is it difficult? Well, it must be, because for millennia, mankind just doesn't seem to be able to come up with either a desire or a conviction to stop hating. But with the support of Rabbi Shimon tonight and many of the other tools that we are being furnished with, we have access into that power. It is ours to be taken, to be understood, and to be enjoyed, only because since the sin, Rabbi Shimon restored the positivity of all physicality in this universe. It is only through perpetuation by hatred that the work of Rabbi Shimon does not become revealed. But as we begin to raise our consciousness, as we begin to understand that it is for our own personal benefit, that it simply does not pay to harbor, or that any negativity, any hatred linger on within our minds, within our hearts. The time is here and now The job had been done. All that is required now is for each and every single one of us to think about someone whom we think ill of and say, that condition, that situation, that circumstance is not going to prevent me from removing the chaos that already had disappeared on this day of Lag BaOmer with Rabbi Shimon.
So again, just more emphasis on the power of that evening. Eh? So
all of that information is in the nanotechnology book. That's what I tell you. That's what we read it.
Okay.
As a group.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Good. Yeah. So, any questions? Any observations? Any comments?
Powerful stuff. As I always say, simple but powerful.
Indeed. So we have a 10:30 Zohar reading so half hour from now. Those of you listening on World Vibes Radio will hear it as I will be broadcasting it live. For those of you who would like to connect to the Zoom or get the Zoom link where you can connect directly to the Zohar reading, we will be sharing the text on our screens. And if you'd like to read, you can read after, listening to how certain words are pronounced and that sort of thing. You can contact me at country code +1 516 965 5700. Again, country code +1 516 965 5700. So yeah, that's it, friends. And tomorrow night we'll be discussing more. For those who didn't hear tonight. So, if there are no other questions, I'm going to say good night here right now until 10:30. 30 minutes from now, we will be back on World Vibes with the 30-minute Zohar reading dedicated to Jamaica. And hopefully you guys on the call will be able to make it later on. Okay?
Okay, I'm still awake, so.
Yes. Very good. Brother Akash and Sean, hopefully you guys can make it half hour from now. And that is the Zohar Zoom link. And I will send it out in the Kabbalah for Jamaicans chat, okay?
Okay.
Have a good night, everyone.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Blessings. All right. So for those of you listening on World Vibes, I will return in 30 minutes to broadcast the Zohar reading. I will see you shortly. And if you're unable to make it, don't forget we're here again tomorrow night, same time, 8 p.m., 7 p.m. in Jamaica. All right. I'll see you 30 minutes from now. Bye-bye. And good evening, everyone. Those of you who are listening to maybe for the first time, my name is Joshua. And I'm the founder of the Kabbalah Learning Center of Jamaica. What you were listening tonight was a repeat of last night's program. And where we spoke mainly about, or extensively about, Lag BaOmer, which is tomorrow night at a center near you. Or you can stream it The whole idea is that we stay up past midnight and we study. Study the Zohar, study about the life of Rabbi Shimon, because we're connecting to the essence of his soul, which is a special soul because he was granted permission to reveal these secrets to the world. He was given permission to release this wisdom into the world. So, if you'd like to know more, you can contact me at country code +1 516 965 5700. Again, country code +1 516 965 5700. Alrighty, so until next week, again, because we're here every Tuesday and Wednesday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 to 9 in Jamaica. Again, you can find us at our website, www.kabbalah4jamaicans.com. That's KABBALAH, the number 4, and Kabbalah for Jamaicans. JAMAICANS. Kabbalah4jamaicans.com. Or you can go to my YouTube channel, Kabbalah for Jamaicans. Actually, Lloyd Campbell, which is my given name. Joshua is my Hebrew name. So, until next time, my friends, walk good, and remember that this is the way. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week.